I will go ahead and cheesy.
If you fight in the hills, you'll never surrender.
Waiting for the next attack. You better stand, there's no turning back. 2 minutes to midnight. Your life you're living in the golden years. Can I play with madness? Bring your daughter to the sun. There's no love, and I'll be down, falling down. Future real, what is real? Your time will come. I'm on my way. The pressure of knowing the final frontier. I don't know where, I don't know when.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Heels and Quads. I am Levi, not joined by Tommy once again, as we gallop our way through the Iron Maiden ranking series. Today is number 13 in my ranking of the Iron Maiden studio albums, and you can probably catch it on screen right now. There you go. Number 13 is Iron Maiden's most recent release, September 3rd, 2021, Senjitsu. This marks the first of the 2020s Iron Maiden albums, and the title is loosely translated to tactics and strategy. I wonder if that's why they have a song called Strategio on here, I'm not sure. Though a discography that spans from 1980 onward, this is the 17th album in that. Does Iron Maiden deliver? Yes. They deliver a little differently, and when I say differently, this has been kind of going on since the 2000s Iron Maiden era, and I think you can create a fourth era for Iron Maiden at this point of 2010s and onward, where the songs are just kind of longer, almost without the weird time signatures, borderlining progressive in the length and the changes of the arrangement. So it's kind of a new era for Maiden. It's not bad by any means. It's ranked here because there's a lot of other albums to get through, and you could probably switch this with some that might go above it, and you could switch it, in your opinion, with some below it. But I think this is about how they rank up, at least for me. In the future, I'll probably do a re-ranking of the Maiden albums all in one. Let's get into it. The album opens up with the title track Senjitsu with some drums, and it really just keeps a steady pace throughout the whole track. Dun, 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 dun. Like, it's not really like fast, and neither is the chorus. Like, the song kind of keeps the same pace the whole time, and it's a really solid opener for being a little different compared to what they've typically opened with over the years. Even with like Book of Souls, If Eternity Should Fail, recently, like, it's got a little bit of a faster pace to it, but I like what they did here with kind of slower, just mid-tempo, kind of just rolling onward with this song. It's a good track. After this, we get the two singles of the album. We get Strategio. I think Strategio is a really cool song, if that's how you pronounce it. Stratego, I'm not really sure. I'm going to call Strategio because it's like a strategy. Strategio is actually a really cool track. I see why it's a single. I could see it being on set lists moving forward if they're playing, newer stuff. And this one really is just a return to, like, this is like a modern classic Maiden song. You got your E minor key, at least what it seems like, that favorite key of the band, when they do it very well, by the way. And this one just kind of keeps rolling. It's a new classic for Maiden. After this, we get Writing on the Wall. Probably my personal favorite on the album. It was the first single released. It's also probably a lot of people's favorites, but it's a bit of a deter from what they've done before, where you get this almost like folky, bluesy intro. Then you get kind of a country-ish rock thing going on, and then like that kick drum. And the video, if you've never seen the video with this, the video is definitely good to watch with it because it's kind of the story of like Eddie coming and rescuing this civilization from this evil ruler. And I'll say here, a lot of this album and their most recent work has been a lot of like stories. And I know Maiden's always kind of had like stories for their songs, but these are very like story-driven songs, and Writing on the Wall is no different. I think it's awesome for changing it up a little bit, and it was really surprising to hear when it came out, and I've enjoyed it. It's still on the regular playlist. Lost in a Lost World is a great song. It's just a bit too long. Dun, dun, and it's a little slower, but it's a more melodic, melancholy kind of track, and then of course it leads into some jams as per usual. 9 minutes and 31 seconds, Lost in a Lost World. So yeah, it's kind of kicking off that longer portion of the album. Senjitsu is long to open, and that would be one of my gripes as well. The title track, opening track, is 8 minutes and 20 seconds. I don't think you need a long opener. Lost in a Lost World, it's all right. It follows up Writing on the Wall just fine, I think. I don't think it's going to be played live or anything like that. Like, it's just part of the album. We're telling stories here. Days of Future Past. This is actually the shortest song on the album. I think 4 minutes and 3 seconds. Probably, along with Stratego, is the most classically formatted track of the album, where you kind of just get that Maiden pace, that Maiden key, that Maiden sound, like everything about it, like it's a Maiden song. And it's also a really good track as well. The names of these songs are actually like very like Somewhere in Time-esque. You got Days of Future Past, The Time Machine, Lost in a Lost World, so like it's like Stranger in a Strange Land, Deja Vu, Somewhere in Time, so it's like it's very similar. The titles are very similar to that album and that kind of era of Maiden. Days of Future Past, I think it's a great track because it's 4 minutes, easily digestible. Then we get into a bit of longer tracks. Time Machine, it's a cool tune that it goes into an OG style Iron Maiden riff / lead at the same point, my notes. Like that's a total Maiden lead. That's like 3 minute-ish mark, I think. 7 minutes and 9 seconds, so it's still, you can handle it. Darkest Hour is very ballady, but it's obviously not a ballad. It slows us down for a bit, and then Maiden, of course, does it really well. More melodic, like I said earlier with Lost in a Lost World. More melodic, more melancholy. Lower tempo, kind of take the vibe down a little bit from all these like faster parts of songs. But of course, again, it ramps up, working towards progressive. Not even on the cusp of prog, but like getting a little more experimental and longer. You get some shifts in the music. Not necessarily time signature changes, not necessarily key changes. Shifts in the song and the structure. Cool track. Again, I'm going to say that about all of them, I'm sure. Death of the Celts. It's like everyone else. Death of the Celts definitely sounds like the Klansman. And that's a good thing. That is a cool bass line. The Klansman is one of the coolest Blaze Bayley era songs, and Bruce, I believe, still sings it occasionally. Of course, the song, like I've said with the others, kind of grows throughout, but the opening to it and really the first couple verses, it has just this whole Klansman vibe. They were definitely going that direction. Like somebody said, hey, let's do like a similar thing to that. But that opening bass line is just, it's awesome, man. Definitely listen to it. The Parchment is a long song that just kind of rolls on. If I'm being honest, this is one that like I don't have ingrained in my brain. And lots of parts of these songs, I know it's been out 2 years now. I've listened to it plenty, but like this, when songs are super long, it doesn't all stick with me. And I think The Parchment's just kind of one that gets lost in there for me. The song's fine. Like, there's not a bad song on the record. Like, this is a great album. It's just different, and it's long. I think it's like 81 minutes total. So The Parchment just kind of falls, it's all right. It's there. It's the second to last track. You never really have a banger in that spot. The last track is actually Hell on Earth, which is, to me, like, the best way to put it, like, it's a finale. Like, Hell on Earth is a finale, man. And it even has that tonality in the music. It has that vibe to it where it's just like, it's the end of something. And even the title, Hell on Earth, that kind of tells you, what, that would kind of be the end of things. It's a very well put together outro for the album. Much like the other tracks on this one, it's past that 10-minute mark. I think there's 3 10-minute plus, and it's the last 3 songs, yeah. what is it? Death of the Celts, 10 minutes and 20 seconds. The Parchment, 12 minutes and 39 seconds. And Hell on Earth is 11 minutes and 19 seconds. So you get those 3 in a row that are 10 minutes plus. Not my favorite Iron Maiden record of all time, but again, it's only been out 2 years and it takes a little time to stew. You know, like Dance of Death when it first came out wasn't my favorite, but over time I'm like, there's a lot of tracks on that record I like. And same with Book of Souls, and same with Matter of Life and Death. It's very well produced, it's well written, as per usual. Maiden has entered yet another chapter in their storied discography, their storied career, and I look forward to what's coming next. I can tell they are kind of going these longer, story-driven songs, but that's okay, because they do it really well. I think Book of Souls, coming up on the ranking list, Empire of the Clouds, I think is like 21 minutes long or something. And that's a Bruce song. Some highlights before we go. Strategio, whatever you want to call it. Writing on the Wall, Days of Future Past, Death of the Celts, and Hell on Earth. Those are definitely a few top tier tracks on here, but again, no really bad tracks. And then one note I wanted to make before I'm done with the video. Mark Wilkinson did the artwork for this, Book of Souls, Live at Dunnington, and the Best of the B-Sides, which I'm currently on the hunt for a copy of. I think it's $50 for the CD on eBay or something, but I definitely want to find the Best of the B-Sides because there's some gems on there. That's about it. That's Senjitsu. Is it better than Fear of the Dark? Yeah, I think so. Depending on the day of the week. And this day of the week falls this way. But Senjitsu doesn't blow my socks off by any means, but it does what I wanted it to do in being a new Iron Maiden record, the most recent. And I think just stacking it up against some of these others, you know, you have a lot of records. I don't want to spoil anything, but you have a lot that I think just aren't necessarily head and shoulders above it, especially the coming ones. A tough spot to rank here when you get to that middle of the road. You know, we have like our bottom tier Maiden records. Again, I love all of them. And then you have your, of course, top tier ones that like paved, that it was like, that's the band. It's just where it gets hard because you kind of have to find the niche of every record of like, what does this one do right? What does this one do right? What does this one do right? What does this one do wrong? And I think this one falls perfectly in place for right about middle of the road. 17 records, so what, 9 is like the halfway mark. So yeah, we're getting close to the halfway mark here. But until next time, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Subscribe, like, patreon.com/heelsandquads. Join us over there if you want some special content and all that good stuff. CopperJohnsBeard.com. Use coupon code HeelsandQuads in all caps at checkout to save 15% on your order. And MudaMerch.com, MUDA. That is where you can find our merch. I can't talk, so I'm out of here. We'll catch you guys next time. Tell your friends, tell your enemies. Peace.